So part 4 is about, are we at liberty to judge the dietary decisions of others? So far we talked about, can you eat meat? Are there any meat restrictions, and should you eat meat? So this part will really tie everything together and bring it to a close. So it's clearly stated in Romans 14 that Christians have certain liberties and can have their own convictions, and people can differ in how they live, and yet at the same time they can both be perfect Christians that don't sin. So if you look at vegans, meat eaters, and vegetarians, they all have different convictions and they all do things differently when it comes to eating food. However, you sometimes see vegans shaming people for eating meat, and that's wrong. That's definitely wrong. However, it's not just vegans who are the problem. You also have meat eaters who put vegans down and insult them and belittle them, and so on all sides of the spectrum you have shame and you have insults thrown at people for what they eat. So I'll read a passage from Romans 14, and notice that I've talked a lot about Romans 14. That's because this entire chapter is especially important when it comes to these matters, and you should really read it all by yourself to get the general idea. So this is chapter 14, verses 1 to 3. Accept the one whose faith is weak, without quarreling over disputable matters. One person's faith allows them to eat anything, but another whose faith is weak eats only vegetables. The one who eats everything must not treat with contempt the one who does not eat, and the one who does not eat everything must not judge the one who does, for God has accepted them. So here you really, this notion about not judging what other people decide to do. Furthermore, if you look at verses 13 to 15, you have this idea of really respecting the other people's decisions and try not to upset them. So therefore, let us stop passing judgment on one another. Instead, make up your mind not to put any stumbling block or obstacle in the way of a brother or a sister. I'm convinced, being fully persuaded in the Lord Jesus, that nothing is unclean in itself. But if anyone regards something as unclean, then for that person it is unclean. If your brother or sister is distressed because of what you eat, you are no longer acting in love. Do not by your eating destroy someone for whom Christ died. So once again, this idea is mirrored in Romans 19 to 21, which will really wrap things up. Let us therefore make every effort to do what leads to peace and to mutual edification. Do not destroy the work of God for the sake of food. All food is clean, but it is wrong for a person to eat anything that causes someone else to stumble. It is better not to eat meat or drink wine or to do anything else that will cause your brother or sister to fall. So, for example, you go to a friend's house and he thinks that eating pork is wrong, then don't go bringing pork to the supper and eating in front of him. Or if you're a meat eater and you go to a vegan who's protesting and you start eating raw meat in front of them and saying, yeah, this is so good, this is delicious, basically mocking them, then that's a sin and you should stay away from that. So what I've tried to show in this mini series is that Christians under the New Testament can eat any meat, any food that they want, and they have their own liberties and convictions that allows them to do so. However, it's important not to judge other people on what they decide to do. And also, if you have certain convictions and you go against those convictions, well, then that's a sin. All right, so that wraps up this mini series. I'm going to end it off here, and I'll see you in the next video whenever that will be.